Have you ever wondered what makes family conflicts so complicated, especially after a separation? It often comes down to personality. Today, we're going to dive deep into a psychological concept called the five-factor model and see how it sheds light on a painful family dynamic, parental alienation. This is when one parent deliberately turns a child against the other. Understanding the psychology behind it is the first step toward healing. So, what is the five-factor model? You might also know it as the Big Five personality traits. It's a widely accepted framework in psychology that breaks down personality into five core dimensions. Think of it as the five main ingredients that make up who we are. First, there's openness to experience. This is all about your curiosity, creativity, and willingness to try new things and accept new ideas. Are you someone who loves exploring different perspectives? Or do you prefer sticking to what you know? Next is conscientiousness. This trait relates to how organized, responsible, and dependable you are. Highly conscientious people are often planners, they're reliable, and they think before they act. Third is extraversion. This one's pretty well known. It's about where you get your energy from. Extroverts are energized by social interaction. They're often talkative, outgoing, and sociable. Introverts, on the other hand, recharge their batteries through solitude. Fourth, we have agreeableness. This describes how compassionate, cooperative, and warm you are in your interactions with others. People high in agreeableness tend to be trusting and helpful, while those on the lower end can be more competitive or even confrontational. Finally, there's neuroticism. This trait refers to your emotional stability. High neuroticism means you're more prone to experiencing negative emotions like anxiety, anger, or sadness. Low neuroticism suggests you're more emotionally stable and resilient under stress. These five traits exist on a spectrum for everyone, and they don't just describe our preferences. They fundamentally shape how we behave, especially in high-stress situations like a divorce or a custody battle. Now, let's connect this to parental alienation. This destructive pattern happens when one parent, often called the alienating parent, systematically undermines the child's relationship with the other parent, known as the targeted parent. This can be done through negative talk, interfering with visits, or emotional manipulation. The five-factor model gives us a powerful lens to understand why this happens. Let's start with openness. An alienating parent often scores low on this trait. They can become rigid in their thinking and struggle to accept that their child can and should have a healthy relationship with both parents. After a difficult separation, they might become so locked into their own bitterness that they see everything in black and white. The other parent is all bad, and any positive connection the child has with them is seen as a threat. This lack of openness closes the door to co-parenting and compromise. Sadly, research shows that about 50% of alienated children internalize this negativity, which can make it hard for them to form their own healthy relationships later in life. Next up, conscientiousness. A parent who is high in this trait is more likely to make responsible, child-focused decisions. They'll follow through on custody agreements and prioritize the child's well-being. On the flip side, an alienating parent with low conscientiousness might act impulsively and irresponsibly. They might forget about scheduled visitations, deliberately plan fun activities that clash with the other parent's time, or consistently fail to uphold their end of co-parenting agreements. This creates instability and confusion for the child. For targeted parents, being highly conscientious by documenting everything and consistently showing up is a powerful counter-strategy. In fact, targeted parents who seek therapy and maintain consistent, responsible contact often see around a 30% improvement in reconnecting with their children. Now, let's talk about extraversion. This trait influences how parents communicate their discontent. An introverted alienating parent might not have loud, public confrontations. Instead, they might use more subtle, indirect forms of manipulation. This could be sarcasm about the other parent, whispering negative comments to the child, or using guilt trips to create an emotional wedge. An extroverted alienating parent might be more overt, openly bad-mouthing the other parent to anyone who will listen. On the positive side, an extroverted targeted parent might find it easier to build a strong support network and communicate openly with their child, creating a healthier social environment that acts as a buffer against the alienation. Agreeableness is a huge factor here. An alienating parent is often very low in agreeableness. This translates into hostility, a lack of empathy, and a willingness to manipulate the child's emotions for their own gain. They may not care that they are causing their child emotional distress, as long as they win against the other parent. The child is caught in the middle, feeling confused, torn, and anxious. Conversely, a targeted parent who is high in agreeableness has a better chance of mitigating the damage. By remaining empathetic, refusing to retaliate, and keeping communication as constructive as possible, they model emotional maturity and provide a safe harbor for the child. Finally, we have neuroticism. High neuroticism in an alienating parent is like throwing gasoline on a fire. Their emotional instability, anxiety, and anger can lead to impulsive, volatile outbursts. They might overreact to small things and create a constant state of drama. For a child, living with this emotional roller coaster is terrifying. They learn that love and attachment are unpredictable and unsafe, which can lead to long-term anxiety. On the other hand, a targeted parent with low neuroticism provides a crucial sense of stability. By staying calm and predictable, they become an emotional anchor for the child in a turbulent sea. They show the child what a healthy, stable adult looks like. So, knowing all this, what can be done? The great thing about using the 5-factor model is that it doesn't just diagnose the problem. It points toward solutions. To address low openness, co-parenting programs and communication training can be incredibly effective. These programs teach parents how to take each other's perspectives and move past rigid, black and white thinking. To foster conscientiousness, the key is consistency. For the targeted parent, this means creating reliable routines, always showing up when you say you will and communicating clearly. This builds trust and reassures the child that you are a dependable figure in their life. To leverage extraversion, building a strong support system is vital. This can include support groups, workshops, or just trusted friends and family. A strong social network bolsters emotional resilience for both the targeted parent and the child, reminding them they aren't alone. To cultivate agreeableness, the focus should be on empathy-based communication. This means practicing active listening, trying to understand the child's feelings without judgment, and using positive reinforcement. This reduces conflict and protects the child from emotional harm. And finally, to manage high neuroticism, seeking professional help is key. Therapy, emotional regulation techniques like mindfulness, and stress management strategies can help a parent respond more calmly and thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. If you or someone you know is struggling with these intense emotions, reaching out to a mental health professional is a sign of strength. In the end, understanding the 5-factor model gives us a psychological roadmap. It helps us see why alienating behaviors happen, how different personality traits fuel the conflict, and most importantly, what parents can do to reduce the harm. It's a reminder that with self-awareness, emotional regulation, and consistent positive behavior, it's possible to counteract the effects of alienation and help children heal. It's not easy, but it's a fight worth fighting for the well-being of the child caught in the middle. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on psychology and healthy relationships. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.